everybody. Today we are talking about AU Park and Tenleytown. So, AU Park, also known as American University Park, but we call it AU Park here for short. Why is AU Park one of the most sought after neighborhoods for families? Is it tree-lined streets? Is it friendly neighbors? Is it easy walking for your dogs or kids playing in the street? Yes to all of that and more. So welcome to AU Park, and I'm also including Tenleytown in this video because it is home to one of the main retail areas that service AU Park, right? And Tenleytown has houses itself, but it's more commercial and retail than it is residential, although there are houses there, as I said, but AU Park is mainly the residential portion. So while everything here is mostly sunshine and lollipops, there are three ridiculous things that you need to know about living here, and then I'm going to give you one dishonorable mention. So let's get into this. Location. AU Park, or American University Park, as I said, and Tenleytown are adjacent neighborhoods in what the locals call Upper Northwest. So AU Park is mostly residential, but there is a restaurant and retail strip off Massachusetts Avenue, and then you have another restaurant and retail strip at the Tenleytown Metro, which is right on Wisconsin Avenue. The borders of Tenleytown are Chesapeake to the north, Van Ness to the south, 39th and Nebraska on the eastern side, and then the western border is 43rd Street, and that's essentially where AU Park picks up, and AU Park's borders go to River Road, and then western Massachusetts and Nebraska avenues. So, AU Park was named for American University, which sits at the southernmost point of AU Park. Tenleytown is known as the top of the town because it is a whopping 426 feet above sea level. We're very close to sea level here. Tenleytown was actually named for John Tenley, who was a notable resident of the neighborhood who had a tavern here in the late 1700s. Now, the Red Line Metro also comes here. The Tenleytown and AU Park Metro stop is your stop that's here. Red Line goes up to Shady Grove in Rockville, and then it goes all the way through DC and then back up to the Silver Spring side at the Glenmont Metro, which is the terminus of that stop on that side. Okay, so you probably want to know about real estate. I'm a real estate gal. I'm a real estate mama. We do things here that are real estate. So there are no condos at all within the borders of AU Park. This is a neighborhood of single-family homes. There are a few homes that they would say are attached, or what we would call a row home. The neighborhood has about 3,000 homes, and it includes a variety of house types. Homes in AU Park are going to start over $1.2 million. Now, you will find the occasional home that is below that price point, but it's either going to be on one of the main roads, or it's going to have, like, say, one bathroom, or like a fatal flaw that may make it difficult for a lot of buyers to handle, might need a lot of work. Prices generally go into the 1 millions all the way up to 3 million. The average price for the last year in AU Park, 1.595 million. Most of the homes here were built in the 1930s to the 1940s. Square footage can sometimes be a challenge. You can have tight rooms. Rooms might be small, but you're going to have a yard. And some of these houses have been renovated and sort of blown out some of these walls in between. So you've got that also, that's a possibility. Now, the thing about the yards is that yards aren't really typical in DC, but because you're far enough out from downtown, you have front yards here in some of these houses. You have yards in the back. You've got a lot of green space. So it's still good to know. Now, it is still the city. So when I say yard, do not think that it's going to be the acre that you have now currently somewhere else in the country. Your entire lot is still going to be 1/10 of an acre. Womp womp. I'm sorry. But it's a yard. Now, Tenleytown doesn't have a lot of housing. Like I said, there are some single-family homes, and then there's some twins, as we call them here, but they're basically just two row homes that are smacked together, but you're not in the middle of a long row. So each home would have windows on the side as well, so it's not really like a middle of the row or considered an interior. You might see it listed also as an end unit. Now, most of Tenleytown is retail, and then schools occupy a good bit of the real estate that is left in Tenleytown. We're going to talk about that too. Now, when there are homes for sale, though, the prices are going to be lower in Tenleytown than they will be in AU Park, especially if it is a twin. Some of the single-family homes, though, can sell here over $2 million. Tenleytown does have a condo community, okay? That is on Wisconsin Avenue, and it is over Target. Yes, I said it, Target. So exciting. And Best Buy is there as well. Now, the one bedrooms are in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. Two bedrooms can be in the $900,000s and go over $1 million. Now, while this location is highly convenient with the Metro downstairs, Target, Container Store, Whole Foods, and restaurants right across the street, I will share with you that the community is on a very congested corner. The elementary school is right across the side street here, and when the high school lets out, this strip can become very rough to navigate. So I'm going to talk about that a bit more when I get to schools. Now I'm going to show you a house here, and I want you to guess who owned it. Somebody famous, somebody you've heard of, I promise. Okay, here's the house. It's 4801 Tilden Street. Don't Google. I'm not even going to give you a chance to Google, okay? I'm going to give you a hint. I don't know if I got the face down. It was Nixon. He owned this house when he was a senator in the 1950s. All right, that's my fun fact for the houses. All right. Speaking of fun, let's go to fun, parks and fun here. There is a giant park in AU Park. It is called Turtle Park. It is at 45th and Van Ness. So here you're going to actually find the Friendship Recreation Center, which is a new state-of-the-art 4,500 square foot community recreation center. There's a community room that can hold up to 125 people. There's a lobby and gallery to display local art. And there's like kids and craft rooms for the local co-op, which is the cooperative play that's here. Exterior updated tot lot and upper playground. There's a new basketball court, a splash pad. So this is all kinds of fun you can have there. Now, if that's not your thing, there's tennis courts that are on the north end of Tenleytown. If you are a swimmer, you're going to be happy to know that adjacent to Jackson Reed High School is an aquatic center with a competition-sized indoor pool. Very exciting. Now, do you need to go shopping? Well, there's a lot here. I've already mentioned Target and Best Buy. There's also Container Store. I think we talked about that too. That is next to Target. Over on Massachusetts Avenue, you're going to find Crate and Barrel. So this is the western edge of AU Park, and you've got that little strip there. More restaurants, though, but you've got Crate and Barrel. Tenleytown Library hosts story time and crafts at different times during the week. A lot of your neighborhood fun is probably going to end up being associated with the schools as well and the families who you meet there. So let's talk about schools next. Now, I already told you there's a cooperative play at the Friendship Rec Center in AU Park, but you also have 3 top-rated schools here, which are very, very, very appealing to families. Very appealing. Janney Elementary is one of the most coveted, sought-after elementary schools in DC. It is right across the street from the condo building, as I mentioned. That's City Line condo that is over Target and Best Buy. And so lots of kids are going to walk to this school. Alice Deal Middle School is right on the edge of Tenleytown. It's actually technically like outside the border, but right there. This school is also well rated. One thing you do want to know, though, it is a very, very large middle school. There's 3 grades there, and enrollment is 1,400. That is wild. That's a lot of kids. Comparatively speaking, the elementary school that the middle school my kids are zoned for here, closer down in Northwest, is I think it's like at 500 for 3 grades. So you could see the complete difference there. Now, Deal Elementary in Tenleytown, AU Park area has an IB program. So that is something good that you should know. High school here is Jackson Reed High School. It is within the Tenleytown boundaries. Much of Upper Northwest is actually zoned for Jackson Reed to include all of AU Park and Tenleytown. Now, Jackson Reed has AP classes, but it doesn't have IB, which is kind of a little odd that you can't get into the IB and then continue it. Now, at the beginning of this video, I told you that there were going to be ridiculous things that I wanted to tell you. The first one is about the schools. DCPS does something that's incredibly stupid. Shocker, I know that you'll be surprised I'm complaining again about DCPS. So these 3 schools are all within like 2 blocks of each other, elementary, middle, and high school. And they all start and end at the same freaking time, 8:45 to 3:15. Do you want to guess what happens at 3:15? The high school kids descend en masse on Tenleytown. There's police who man the stores. They only let a few kids in at a time. Kids will be lined up to get into Target or Chick-fil-A because, well, sometimes we just can't have nice things, people. There was of course, this huge melee at Wawa, which is behind Chick-fil-A on the backside of this strip. And Wawa's also my home away from home. I love it there. They actually had to lock it down quite a bit because the kids would just go in there and it was a disaster and make a mess of everything. There was a Starbucks here that actually closed. Your mileage may vary on that, but I think we probably know that it was just the neighborhood just wasn't good for them to deal with. Everything else is still going strong though. So I drive through here every day around 4 o'clock and it is a total nightmare, but every other time of day, it's actually fine. I can't speak to the morning. I assume it's the same kind of nightmare, other than the fact that people are walking around with their morning face on instead of their afternoon let's get crazy face. But I'm taking my own kids to school at that time. All right, so kids are going to do kid things. I don't know, maybe the powers that be at DCPS could skew start times for these schools so that the streets surrounding the metro don't turn into a sheer pandemonium. I'm just one little person. I don't know. I just have these suggestions sometimes. All right, let's move on to food and restaurants. So you have easy access on this, Wisconsin Avenue Strip. That's the border of Tenleytown, where you're going to find Guapo's, Nando's Peri Peri, Masala Art, Panera's there, Chick-fil-A is there, Surfside is a local favorite, which is just a few blocks south of the library on Wisconsin Avenue. Now, over on Massachusetts Avenue on the other side of the neighborhoods, there's a retail strip as well. So you're going to find Wagshall's Deli, Millie's, which is a great restaurant, DeCarlo's, Pizzeria Paradiso, and Le Pan Quotidien, which is like a bakery, French bakery. You can go in and get sandwiches and some pre-packed food. There are new restaurants in the Wegmans area as well, which is just a little bit south. This new area and neighborhood is called City Ridge. You've got Taco Bamba here, King Street Oyster Bar, Rooftop Kitchen, and then you've got Tate, which is a Boston restaurant / bakery. They've got locations all over DC, and I haven't been there, but I actually overhear people talking about this in the street about how delicious it is. Like, I pass so many people and they're like, have you been to Tate? So it's a place to go, but I looked at their menu and I'm scared that I would eat everything on their menu. So I haven't been yet, but it's on my list. Now, the closest grocery store to AU Park and Tenleytown is going to be Whole Foods. It's right in Tenleytown. You can walk there, but there's also a free garage. There's also the Wegmans that opened a couple years ago, and it is just a half-mile south of the Tenleytown Metro on Wisconsin Avenue. Remember my ridiculous things? Here's number 2 coming at you. Wegmans is a magnet for Instacart drivers. It is hilarious to me that people wanted and begged for a Wegmans, okay? They begged, but I never actually see any people just shopping there for themselves. It's all Instacart drivers, right? They're just pecking away on their phones. They're getting in the way of other shoppers. And I actually never thought I would say this, but Wegmans sucks and I actually don't go there. It sucks. I even said something to the management. They're like, we know. It's a problem. And I said, why don't you just have certain hours where those people can come in that are doing Instacart? Because the problem is they're not shopping for themselves. They're trying to shop off of a list or multiple lists. And they're trying to do substitutions and they're just in the way and you can't get to anything. And I've actually flat out given up. I just don't go there anymore. So sorry, Wegmans. You could have had me. I would have been there every week, but there we go. All right, now let's do a word about doggies, because this is such a nice residential neighborhood. It is also very dog friendly here. There are no DC dog parks in AU Park or Tenleytown, but there are a couple nearby. You've got one in Cathedral Heights, one in Friendship Heights. The streets here are great for dog walks, and you're going to see many four-legged friends out with their human people. Also, many yards are fenced, or they can be. Now, if you were looking at a map, you might see that there is a vet hospital right in Tenleytown. People either have a love it or hate it feeling about this vet. So here we go. Third ridiculous thing about AU Park in Tenleytown coming your way. If you go here for an emergency, expect to refinance your house to pay for it, because their estimates and their subsequent bills are straight up robbery. Your dog gets sick and you go to the emergency vet. They are going to give you an estimate, okay, for $10,000 or more dollars. That includes 849 line items of everything your dog needs, from IV fluids to several nights of hospitalization to whatever else that they come up with. And you're going to panic and you're probably going to say, I can't afford it. Let's put the dog down. Needless to say, I will never bring an animal here. The overnight shift is typically all newbies. There's one doctor somewhere in the building, but you're going to get charged doctor's rates for them bumbling around and practicing things on your pet. Not a fan. Hashtag. Not a fan. All right. So those were my 3 ridiculous things. I have a dishonorable mention. AU Park has a dirty little secret. You guys, it was developed in the 1920s by W.C. and A.N. Miller, which is actually now a residential developer and real estate brokerage. They are still in existence. This was a neighborhood which had racial covenants. The then president of W.C. and A.N. Miller, Edward Miller, signed the covenants into law for AU Park that banned rent or sale to, wait for it, Negro people or any person or person of the Semitic race, blood, to include Armenians, Jews, Hebrews, Persians, or Syrians. Thankfully now, everyone here is allowed. We don't do these things anymore. It's not a good look. All right? And people love it. So it gives the best of residential living with really great schools and really easy access to the city. So I'm a fan. I live down the street. If you have any questions about AU Park or Tenleytown or anything in the neighborhood or area, my contact info is coming next. Wanna hear you go.